Nobody's here from the meeting. Regular meeting of the mayor and the city council, city of Port Allen, Louisiana, Wednesday, June 11, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Council chambers. Each person must decide before entering the chamber which agenda item they wish to comment on. If they are not seated in the chamber when the agenda item is heard, they will be notified by an officer to enter the council chambers to address that agenda item. Agenda. Please silence all electronic devices. Call to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph. Present. Ms. Gordon.
Here.
Mr. Hubble.
Here.
Ms. King. Here. Mr. Payne.
Here.
Quorum present.
Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 14, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Payne. Anyone from the audience? Roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph. Here. Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes.
Mr. Hubble.
Yes.
Ms. King. Yes. Mr. Payne.
Yes.
Motion passes, ma'am.
Number 5, public comments. Comments from the public are allowed in accordance with LA R-S 42:11, section 2 through 34, and specifically limited to an agenda item to be considered during the meeting, 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. Number 6, special recognition of the following employees who are retiring from the city of Port Allen. We asked for Terry Coy to come up. So I just want to say it was a pleasure to work with you. Of course, I found you here when I started, but I enjoyed getting to know you and your family. I grew with you all. I started before I was married, before I had my second child, so you were there for all those events, and I just want to say thank you. And I appreciate you, your work ethic, and we are going to miss you, but we do think you've trained our guys very well, so hopefully we won't have to call you back anytime soon. So, this says, City of Port Allen, Terry P. Coy, in recognition of 29 years of dedicated and professional service to the Water and Gas Department as a meter reader. April 1st, 1996 to retirement date, May 30th, 2025. So just want to give you. You want to say something first?
What you mentioned was family, and that's what it's all about. And everybody had their ways of, the family, and this is part of my family, being with the community. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your service.
Come on.
Y'all already know this. You know the picture later. Y'all already know this.
Smart man.
Okay, real quick, if your family wants to come take a picture real quick. Which row you take the picture? I'll take
Get in the picture with the man.
Thank you. Okay, then we have Mr. Freddie Christopher from the police department. And we have the boxes, so y'all can get the boxes before you leave.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, good evening, everyone. We have Sergeant Christopher here, standing before, who's given 33 years of service to the community and to the agency. And he is retired. I'd like to congratulate him for a job well done. And it's sort of fitting to kind of be right here in this position, because when I first got hired by Port Avenue PD in 2014, I was assigned to none other than Sergeant Christopher Shipp. and I worked that shift for many years. Learned a lot from him. He was a great leader. I think all the characteristics, the one that stood out the most to me is his compassion, right? Your compassion will take you a long way. You can know a lot, you can be a leader, but you also have to be compassionate. That's your ability to connect with other people and issues they may be going through, be able to pat them on the back, whatever they need to continue in this job field. So I'm really excited for him. Time is one thing that you can never buy back. And although I'm glad that he gave 33 years, I'm more excited because now he can spend every minute of his day strictly dedicated to himself and his family. So if y'all don't mind giving him a round of applause for 33 years.
And I just want to say something. It was a pleasure working with you. Even though we, football season, we were rivalries. We always, and the two G-men are together. But we always clowned around about Southern and Grambling. So he was one of two. Mr. Ivory's my first G-man that, I'm very fond of. And Freddie is the second. Rive,
I'm still working
yeah,
on
you're
it.
still working on it. But, we always clowned about it. But seriously, I appreciate you looking out for JC. She was supposed to be here, but she had to work. She was going to surprise you. But she wanted to tell you congratulations as well. And like I said, from my family to yours, we do appreciate you helping during the tragic event we went through. And I would always, appreciate you for that.
Come on
I'm going to
up.
take the picture.
Thank everybody. Thank God. Getting through all of this.
Right.
Went through all these years. I was like, Chief Brown. God,
Right.
he gave me a chance. Thank my wife. She put up with it. All y'all on board. I know everybody. And almost everybody here. Thank y'all. I'm still be around, so I'll still be here.
We'll talk in November. Like you classic. Come on, Rita. You filling in and I didn't.
Squeeze that. Y'all like that too hard. That's too hard.
Right by
That's
each
right,
other.
that's right. Selling porch, $15 a
Thank you.
Well,
Let's take, get your wife.
Sabrina, come up here, take a picture with your husband. Smile. It's good. It's fine.
I'm already back. I got it in the other picture. You come get in.
I'll take the picture. See if I can get up.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So, right.
All right, another round of applause.
Can I say a little bit? The last 6 years, I've had the opportunity to work with Officer Christopher. And, I'm at the middle school, Port Allen Middle School. And, there were days that if he wouldn't be there, we don't know what we would have done. But he's always remained calm and cool, and he's old school. And that's what we need, you know, the respect and the humbleness, and we're gonna miss you. You're gonna still be around.
Thank you.
I just want to say, as a longtime resident of Port Allen, with my dad retiring, and also Mr. Christopher, I appreciate the appreciation. Having you in that seat, you know, admiring the people that worked for this town for so long. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you.
Y'all don't have to sit here, retirees. You're welcome to leave. It's up to you. Okay, number 7. Consider approving Adrain Daigle as Director of Finance. I brought this to the council some months ago with the retiring of our CFO. Adrain was the assistant at that time. He stepped up then. He stepped up even more now in the shoes to fill. He doesn't mind questioning. He doesn't mind figuring out. And I think he's a good person for that position. And I'm asking the council to consider him as the director. I know we listed as that, but he was interim. So I am asking that we put him in the director position.
So we're not gonna open it up for any,
We advertised. It was advertised in the Advocate already, so we went through that.
okay, we did.
The,
I know we had said it was, and I didn't hear anything else about it.
yes, we did. We didn't get any, but it is different from our West Side Journal. But we did advertise. We have the advertisements
Okay.
to be on the safe side. We kept
That's
everything.
everything.
So we do have them. But
I
am
make a
asking-
motion to, hire Adrain.
Okay, so it's motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Hubble. Anyone from the public wish to comment? Hearing none? Roll
Mrs.
call.
Joseph,
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Hubble,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Payne.
Yes.
Motion passes now.
Stuck with us now. You want to say anything? You have plenty to say, I know.
That's the agenda I've got on here, I'll be speaking next.
Okay, number 8, consider approving revisions to the preliminary plat of Westview Crossing. Mr. Tatum?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor and council members, I'm Jim Tatum with Tatum Engineering, representing the Dennis Carlin and the other folks that are developing Westview Crossing. As you recall, we were in here a week ago talking about making some minor changes to the preliminary plat. Over the last week, nothing has changed. Be glad to answer any questions or address any concerns you may have and ask for your support to approve the preliminary plat. And also, Mayor, I'll tell you, you certainly run a pleasant meeting.
I
Now,
tried.
they're not always, not up to you always, but
Right.
it's certainly been a pleasant meeting. So if there's anything, any questions or any concerns you have, please let me know and we'll address them.
Can I get a motion? Have a motion by Councilwoman Joseph, second by Councilman Payne. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? A roll call, please.
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
No.
Mr. King, Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 9, authorize the mayor to sign the managed service agreement with Essential Solutions for July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, period, in the amount of $47.50 per month. Mr. Bob White.
Council members, Mayor.
I know you talk very low all the time, but we need you to speak up so everyone can hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
I'm gonna pass out the documents.
Can you go, sir?
I think they're gonna ask me to talk about a few different things. We're on the left, we'll move over right now. Okay, I'm just gonna talk really loud. I'm not yelling at you. I'm Bob White, I'm with Essential Solutions. I see some faces I recognize and there's some new faces. We do the IT for the city for about the past 2 decades. The current contract is $4,000 a month, $48,000 a year. We're asking for an increase to $47.50 or $57,000 a year. That is for all the IT for the city. Every device the city owns, every piece of software that you have in place, that nothing new. If there's any support that's needed, we come out and do it. We're also here every Monday as a scheduled visit, and we take care of any needs that happen then, and we cover the PD 24/7. On the left side of your folder, there are some usage numbers. Our contract is based on usage rather than just devices or anything like that. So the first sheet, we recalculate on calendar year. So this is all the numbers for 2024. And if you look at the actual column, there's 2 highlighted numbers. This shows you the power of our contract. Because there was an outage with income. There was a problem, I won't go into details, but you can see that there was 114 hours in 1 month, and then 55 in another month. And the city didn't pay a dime extra for any of that time. I had someone on site, I think 2 weeks straight, sorting out those problems. Since it's not truly unlimited contract, that's the value of the contract. Now, when we decide what we're going to request for the next, for the next fiscal year, your fiscal year, I normalize those 2 months to the average of the other 10, so that it wouldn't inflate the numbers. So you can see that if our normal rate is $125 an hour, if you paid that per hour, it would be $49.58. That's your average. So you still would save $208.33 a month if the usage stays the same in your next fiscal year. The next sheet, because it's so long since we did that, I wanted to get the 5 months we just got. So this is the average again from June 24 to May 25, the most recent month that has ended. So that's our actual usage. You can see it's going up a little bit. It would be 5,145 paid hourly. There's no change. It's still the $47.50 is what we request. There's also a copy of the contract. I know that Gary was kind enough to send it to everyone. Do y'all have any questions on the contract usage, what we do?
So when you say all of the IT, that means all of this we're looking at where I'm still seeing D2, Hooverville, and Clarence Lacey, because that can consider all of the IT.
They don't do these,
The
you don't do
monitor.
these monitors.
We would.
Yeah, they
Right.
can, but they mark the company.
Somebody just has to say, come change, any request for any piece of equipment that the city owns, we will take care of it. So that if it's saying the wrong name, we just need to tell Jada when she comes in next Monday.
Okay.
that
Never
this-
even thought about it, cause I knew y'all weren't the actual company, but we
Well,
will.
the problem with this software is it's done by a third party. So we would help them assist, we would request the changes, we would make the phone call, but we probably can't actually do it. We would contact them. The same thing with your Encode, when you have a problem, we call Encode. You're gonna move to Edmonds sometime next year, we'll be communicating with Edmonds and making sure that,
And the only reason I asked that question was because you said all of the IT.
yes, sir.
Yeah, but it's
Reserve.
the maintenance department, sewer department, us, PD.
Yeah, we covered it all.
Okay. I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Gordon. Second.
Y'all don't want it?
And second by Councilwoman King. Ms. Maggie, I think you signed up, is it that one you said IT?
Okay.
Ma'am? No? Roll
Okay.
call.
Mrs. Joseph?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
No.
Ms. King?
No.
Mr. Payne?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't motion for it.
So motion failed.
So do we have to go find another guy to come do our IT or what? Because I mean, this is a good price that he
We have a
gave you,
contract
go
now.
up, so I don't know. Why?
We need to make a decision by July 1st, correct?
Correct.
And this price will still stay the same by July the 1st, you're not gonna go up anymore?
That's our price.
Okay. Well, you know, you can always change your price, so I just wanna make sure.
Well, I mean, we won't have, by July 1st, we won't have a new number. But yeah, the contract renewal date is August 1st. So the city would notify us by July 1st, you don't want to continue the contract. So, I don't know, if you plan to do a bid, we would love to bid, we know what our bid would be.
Okay.
I would love to answer any questions of people who always know if there's an issue I can address, please let me know.
I wasn't quite satisfied with you either. I was willing to give you a chance, but I wasn't quite satisfied with you.
With what? That's what you asked me, what you're not satisfied with.
With all of them, wasn't quite satisfied with you, but, the monitoring, if we paying you for $5,000.
Not for this monitor,
Wait,
not for this monitor.
wait, but just let me explain myself. You asked me a question, but let me explain myself.
Okay, but you're going backwards.
No, I'm not going back.
Okay, let's.
Go ahead, go ahead.
But just let me explain
Go ahead.
myself. If we paying you that kind of money, but we have other people that we paying too, with that kind of money, you need to be servicing everything. So, we paying 3 different people, right? We paying
Two for sure.
Okay, but we need to be you need to be servicing everything for that type of money. So, I mean, I was willing to give you a chance, but with that type of money is just going everywhere. So,
I'm gonna say this, since I've been here, and not in the mayor's role, but as an employee, this was something separate under the former administration. We already had Essential set up at that point. So I guess it was up to that administration to decide what needs to be serviced and what doesn't. So we can't hold him accountable for these monitors.
You're
You know, for these monitors, and we purchased these after. I'm not sure what the issue is, but
system.
this is a separate system with a separate contract.
There is no contract.
Well, yeah, but
That's
this
the problem.
what's the-
This was a proprietary system.
what was the
designed-
company, Mr. Joseph?
Link integration system.
Right, so it was totally
designed
different
for
from
us.
Essential.
But there was a maintenance agreement that was proposed that was never accepted.
To where now he's willing to.
Well,
No.
he would have to, Essential was involved in
Right.
getting Link, the company that put this system in. They coordinated to get it on the network and to do all of the things that tied into what Essential does. But Essential was never consulted about this.
Right.
This was Link Integration Systems, who provides a similar system for the parish. Former administration chose to go that route. Link installed all of the hardware, they designed the software to where it's supposed to operate the way we conduct our meetings. This never worked like it's supposed to. Now, we can't explain that. What I do know is, Ms. Rose can attest to this, other employees can attest to this. We have come up here on meeting days to test this equipment out, and it works fine. And when the meeting starts, it doesn't. And all I can tell you is that they offered a separate maintenance agreement that was not mentioned during the initial negotiation.
Link, not Essential.
Link,
Thank
correct, in order to maintain the system going forward, prospective. That maintenance agreement was not accepted.
So to clarify what we do, when you have a system from someone else, like Encode, Edmunds, we didn't write the software. Our job is to, you tell us there's a problem, we can talk technical with them so that they're not trying to talk over your head and spin around in circles. We coordinate with them and call them when there's a problem. I don't know of any time we've been called into this room on a normal visit or thing at all. I know we had, I think a year ago, we put in a ticket and we asked for a call back from, I don't even remember who that was. But even that was dropped from the prior administration. But as far as software packages and audio-visual packages, which is what this is, we would coordinate with that vendor that you have that agreement with. We can't warranty their equipment, their setup. We wouldn't even know how to do it.
That's proprietary software that they can't touch. Only the company that sold you and owns that software are really the only ones that can mess with that software.
We would facilitate the phone call with them and hold their feet to the fire from a technical standpoint.
Some of them have to be straightened out. That's just about.
The city may need to go to a different vendor and get a different system, and we can work with you to get that done. And, make sure it's something that we can support too. Not just some proprietary system that, they know how to deal with, and they insist on a maintenance agreement that the city didn't want to pay for because it wasn't talked about up front.
I think what we have to do is go back to the people who installed the monitor and see what agreement can we make with them to fix it.
Okay. Let's clarify some things.
So we can't blame them.
No,
for
this
that.
has
So
nothing to
that's
do with
why
Essential. But just to get kind of through it in a
Say
nutshell,
that they at fault.
this system costs a little under $100,000. That was software, hardware, installation. That did not include any maintenance. The maintenance agreement was offered at $8,000, I think, annually, or give or take or something, and it was not acted upon. Now, how we got here, that's a conversation for another day and other people. All we really needed was a system to record the meetings. Meetings are being recorded. The meetings have to be recorded. We were looking for a digital recording system, and that's all we needed. The prior system was a hard drive-based system that had not been changed, I think, since City Hall was built anew. in approximately 2009 or so. When I came up here to create space on the hard drive, it said I needed 330 CDs to download that information. So I went to the mayor, found some systems. This is the decision that was made. That's what happened. Essential had nothing to do with it. They didn't write the code. They didn't install anything. All they did was coordinate with Link to get it on the network, because it is on the network. It uses internet, services or what have you. But other than that, nothing to do with it, essentially, at all. Link Integration Group installed it, designed it, wrote the software, and since it's been malfunctioning, we have tried to engage an expert who can come in and advise us on how to have this communication. Because the reality is that unless you're a tech expert, then you're not going to know what you're even talking about in order to rectify the situation. But once again, decisions were made that didn't afford that to happen. This is where we are. So I would not advise replacing the system. We don't need electronic voting. I mean, we've been doing fine with voice voting for decades, and we're still using voice voting since this system been put in place. All you need is a digital recording system. It's a computer and some microphones, and at the time that we proposed it, I proposed it was $5,000. That's not the decision that was made. That's what happened in a nutshell. And it all happened in this room because it was all proposed and voted on by previous councils and things of that nature.
So I think going forward, we'll have to probably put it on the, give everyone some time to look over the paperwork and possibly put it on the agenda for next month.
When does the contract expire?
He said August, but he would need to know by July.
The contract stipulates that you should have a copy in your folder there.
Well, it's
Stipulates
the
all of
existing
the-
contract, though. Does it go on a month-to-month basis after that?
It renews for a year every year. So if you don't give 30 days notice, by July 1st, it'll renew for another year.
At the current rate.
Current.
This was to renew it at a higher rate.
Right.
At the current rate, which is not in the contract has not been signed in two administrations, I believe. The council has improved our increases as addendums to the contract. So the contract as written right now is actually a much less amount than what's on there. But it auto renews and the council has approved the increases in between. So it's a contract addendum.
So can we have a special meeting?
We can do a special.
But,
Did anybody have any other questions before I go? Thank you.
okay, so we'll be in touch with you. Number 10, consider, we still need to. Right.
In light of the prior vote, we'll ask that item number 10 be deferred to another meeting as well. If we can get a motion on that.
And we need a motion to defer item number 10 to the same meeting for the IT discussion. Motion by Councilwoman Joseph, second by Councilman Payne. Anyone from the audience wish to be heard on that? Ms. Maggie?
I don't know if he can. I worked at LSU in computer science. I'm gonna leave y'all the information to contact David Trammell. He's the director of IT at LSU. Give my name and ask him if he has a graduate student that maybe would come here for a nominal fee and do an assessment. Just from listening, there's too much going on. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Maybe he can evaluate it, and it may take starting fresh, I don't know. But there's some very smart graduate students, and I think that they would be more than willing to come over here and do an assessment and give a evaluation of the entire system. And I'll leave the information. I'm not gonna call him myself, just say that I recommended him.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Joseph,
Yes.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Hubble,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Mr. Payne.
Yes.
Motion passes, ma'am.
Okay, so 11 is should be.
That's gonna be moved.
Okay. 12, public hearing to obtain views regarding the adoption of a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the city of Port Allen, parish of West Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal, levy, and collection of special taxes therein, making application to the Louisiana State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection thereof. Mr. Adrain?
This will be, is it on? This will be for the police department tax that is a 10-year tax voted on by the voters. It is set to expire at the end of this year. So if we want to continue keeping it, we would have to go through this process. The process started with me advertising it in the Advocate that we would have this meeting where the council would vote to go with it if they so decide. So this gives a chance for the public to speak if they so choose. And I'll leave it to the public if the public has any questions for me or if y'all have any questions for me.
Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Can I get a motion?
That's just a public hearing.
Okay. So, 13. Adopt a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the city of Port Allen, parish of West Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal, levy, and collection of special taxes therein, making application to the Louisiana State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection thereof.
All right, the resolution in its entirety. A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the city of Port Allen, parish of West Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal, levy, and collection of special taxes therein, making application to the Louisiana State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Whereas the City Council, acting as the governing authority of the city of Port Allen, parish of West Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, the city, previously submitted to the qualified voters of the city a certain ad valorem tax proposition, the taxes, and whereas this governing authority desires to call an election, the election, authorizing the renewal of the taxes and to take all necessary actions ancillary thereto, and now, therefore, be it resolved by this governing authority, the city, that Section 1, election call, subject to the approval of the Louisiana State Bond Commission, and under the authority conferred by the Constitution of the State of Louisiana of 1974, Article 6, Section 30 thereof, the applicable provisions of the Louisiana Election Code, and other constitutional and statutory authority, a special election is hereby called in order to be held in this city on November 15, 2025, between the hours of 7 o'clock a.m. and 8 o'clock p.m., in accordance with the provisions of the Louisiana Revised Statute 18:541, and at the said election there shall be submitted to all the registered voters qualified and entitled to vote at the said election under the Constitution and laws of the state, and the Constitution of the United States, the following proposition to wit: City of Port Allen, Parish of West Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana, proposition, Police Department tax renewal citywide. Shall the City of Port Allen, State of Louisiana, the city, be authorized to renew the levy and collection of the tax of 5.020 mils on all properties subject to taxation in the city, an estimated $285,000 reasonably expected at this time to be collected from the levy of the tax for an entire year, the tax, for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2026 and ending with the year 2035, with the proceeds of the tax, after paying the reasonable and necessary costs and expenses of collection and administering the tax, to be dedicated and used for the purpose of paying the maintenance and operating expenses of the city police department. Section 2, publication of notice of election. A notice of special election shall be published in a newspaper of general circulation within the city and be in the official journal of the city once a week for 4 weeks, for 4 consecutive weeks, with the first publication to be made not less than 45 days nor more than 90 days prior to the date fixed for the election, which notice shall be substantially in the form attached hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference the same as if it were set forth herein in full. Section 3, canvass. This governing authority shall meet at its regular meeting place, 3rd floor council chamber, City of Port Allen, 375 Court Street, Port Allen, Louisiana, on December 10th, 2025, at 5:30 p.m. and shall then and there in open and public session proceed to examine and canvass the returns and declare the results of the election. This governing authority reserves the right to postpone the date and time set forth above for the canvass of the returns without any further publication of notice of the change in the date, time, and/or location. Section 4, polling places. The polling places set forth in the aforesaid notice of special election are hereby designated as the polling places at which to hold the said election, and the commissioners in charge and commissioners, respectively, will be the same persons as those designated in accordance with the law. Section 5, election commissioners, voting machines. The officers designated to serve as commissioners in charge and commissioners pursuant to Section 4 hereof, of such substitutes therefore as may be selected and designated in accordance with the Louisiana Revised Statute 18:1287, shall hold the said special election as herein provided, and shall make due returns of said election for the meeting of this governing authority to be held as provided in Section 3 hereof. All registered voters in the city are entitled to vote in said special election, and voting machines shall be used. Section 6, authorization of officers. The municipal clerk of this governing authority is hereby empowered, authorized, and directed to arrange for and to furnish to said election officials, election officers, in ample time for the holding of said election, the necessary equipment, forms, and other paraphernalia essential to the proper holding of said election, and the mayor and our municipal clerk of this governing authority are further authorized, empowered, and directed to take any and all further action required by the state or under federal law to arrange for the election. Section 7, furnishing election call to election officials. Certified copies of this resolution shall be forwarded to the Secretary of State, the Clerk of Court, and ex officio parish custodian of voting machines in and for West Baton Rouge Parish, and the Register of Voters of West Baton Rouge Parish, as notification of the special election herein called in order that such may prepare for said election and perform their respective functions as required by law. Section 8, applicable to State Bond Commission. Application to the State Bond Commission. Application is made to the State Bond Commission for consent and authority to hold a special election as herein provided, and in the event that election carries for further consent and authority to dedicate the proceeds of the tax, and a certified copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to the State Bond Commission on behalf of the governing authority, together with a letter requesting the prompt consideration and approval of this application. Exhibit A, notice of special election. Pursuant to the provisions of a resolution adopted by the City Council of the City of Port Allen, Parish of West Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana, acting as the governing authority for the City of Port Allen, Parish of West Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana City, on June 11, 2025, notice is hereby given that a special election will be held within the city on November 15, 2025, and that at said election there will be submitted to all registered voters in the city qualified and entitled to vote in this said election under the Constitution and laws of the State of Louisiana and the Constitution of the United States, the following proposition to it. City of Port Allen, Parish of West Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana. Proposition, Police Department tax renewal citywide. Shall the City of Port Allen, State of Louisiana, the city, be authorized to renew and levy and collection of a tax of 5.020 mils of all properties subject to taxation in the city. An estimated $285,000 reasonably expected at this time to be collected from the levy of the tax for the entire year, the tax for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2026 and ending with the year 2035, with the proceeds of the tax, after paying the reasonable and necessary costs and expenses of collection and administering the tax, to be dedicated and used for the purpose of paying the maintenance and operating expenses of the city police department. The special election will be held at the following polling places situated within the city, which polls will open at 7 o'clock a.m. and close at 8 o'clock p.m. in accordance with the provisions of Louisiana Revised Statute 18:541(2)(b). Precinct 00/06, Raleigh High School, 658 North Long Drive. Precinct 00/09, Casey Hall, 679 North Jefferson Avenue. Precinct 00/10, Port Allen City Court, 330 South Alexander Avenue. Precinct 00/11, Casey Hall, 679 North Jefferson Avenue. Precinct 00/13A, County Elementary School Activity Center, 805 North 14th Street. Precinct 00/14A, LSU Ag Center, West Baton Rouge Extension, 210 Turner Road. Precinct 00/14B, LSU Ag Center, West Baton Rouge T Extension, 210 Turner Road. Precinct 00/15 County Elementary School Activity Center, 805 North 14th Street. The polling places set forth above are hereby designated as the polling places in which to hold the said election, and the commissioners in charge and commissioners respectively shall be those designated according to law. The said special election will be held in accordance with the applicable provisions of Chapter 5, Chapter 6A, and Chapter 6B of Title 18 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority. And the officers appointed to hold the said election as provided in this notice of special election or such substitute therefore as may be selected and designated in accordance with the Louisiana Revised Statute 18:1287, will make due returns thereof to said governing authority, and notice is hereby further given that the governing authority will meet in its regular meeting place, 3rd floor, Council Chamber, City of Port Allen, 375 Port Street, Port Allen, Louisiana, on December 10th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. and shall then and there in an open and public session proceed to examine and canvass the returns and declare the results of the said special election. All registered voters in the city are entitled to vote at said special election, and voting machines will be used thereat. Notice is further given that a portion of the monies collected from the tax described in the proposition above shall be remitted to certain state and statewide retirement systems in the manner required by law. The estimated cost of the election is determined by the Louisiana Secretary of State based upon the provisions of Chapter 8A of Title 18, and actual cost of similar elections is $3,400.
Can I get a motion? A motion by Councilman Hubble. Second by Councilwoman Joseph. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes, Mayor.
14, public hearing to obtain views regarding the adoption of an ordinance to amend the 2024-2025 low-income housing fund budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, to be in compliance with the Louisiana budget law. Is that time?
Mayor. So my associate's going to hand out some copies, so we brought them, gave you last month. This particular part of your agenda, what it's accomplishing is, as I mentioned last month, the low-income housing, your Section 8 grant fund. It's got more grant money coming in, so of course the corresponding expenditures are up. And in accordance with State Budget Act, since it exceeds 5% of that budget, it requires a budget amendment. So that's what this accomplishes. And this is the opportunity for anybody in the public to comment on it. We did advertise for that over the course of last month after we met, so we're sort of set up to adopt it if you so choose. But this would avoid a compliance finding in your audit, so that's the purpose of it. You got named last year for this particular fund, so good news is you get more money in, supporting more households. So,
Anyone from the audience wish to be heard on this? Any motion? Oh, I'm sorry, public hearing. 15 is. Consider adopting an ordinance to amend the 2024-2025 low-income housing fund budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 to be in compliance with the Louisiana budget law. Ms. Rose?
Ordinance number 5 of 2025, an ordinance of the city of Port Allen to amend the 2024-2025 low-income housing fund budget of revenue and expenditures for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025 to be in compliance with the Louisiana budget law and related matters.
Can I get a motion?
Motion.
A motion by Councilwoman King,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Gordon. Anyone from the public? Roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes, Mayor.
16, public hearing to obtain views on adopting an ordinance to provide for the operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the city of Port Allen for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 for the general fund, water and gas fund, sewer fund, low-income housing fund, and municipal complex debt service fund.
thank you, Mayor. What this does for you, this is, the purpose of this for anybody to comment on the overall budget. So this establishes your budget for next fiscal year, July 1 to June 30th, 2026. We went over that document last month at the last council meeting, and this is an opportunity for anyone from the public that they want to comment. One change from the finance committee last week that I recommended after speaking with Adrain today, we did place in here for technology for the city hall that you're apparently in need of replacing your network and some other computers, and the price tag you gave me was $50,000. So I did make that revision in the budget, just to get it in, get a clear picture of what next year's gonna look like. So I did make that change, and so you can consider that as part of this, part of your budget. But beyond that, pretty much the document we went over last month in May is identical to what we have here. So that with the absence of that one change. Did publicly advertise for that as well, along with the budget amendment we just talked about. And so that's all set up for you to consider adopting the ordinance tonight.
Any comments from the public?
Public hearing closed.
Okay, public hearing is closed. 17, consider adopting an ordinance to provide for the operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the city of Port Allen for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 for the general fund, water and gas fund, sewer fund, low-income housing fund, municipal complex debt service fund. Ms. Rose?
Ordinance number 6 of 2025, an ordinance to provide for an operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the city of Port Allen for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026 for the general fund, water and gas fund, sewer fund, low-income housing fund, and municipal complex debt services fund and related matters.
Can I get a motion?
And this is a motion to approve the presented budget with the amendment discussed.
Okay, it's a motion by Councilwoman Joseph, second by Councilman Payne. The roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Let me just preface my vote. The overall budget is good. There's an item in capital outlay that I do not agree with, and I haven't, and that's the restrooms on the levy. So that being in there, I have to vote no.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. King? Yes. Motion passed.
Thank you.
18, consider approving costs associated with the sewer tie-in at 1151 Avenue C for Harry Brown. I brought this to committee meeting last week and presented you with some information. Just left the amount up to you all. We have not discussed it since, so I'm not sure if someone wants to speak on it. The amount that may have come up with or something.
I make a motion that, we said 64% was the last one that we did pay. So about 60%.
With 60 or 60%.
You made a motion. Yes, sir.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Councilman Payne, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Anyone from the audience wish to be heard?
Yeah, I say one thing, the address is 1131.
1131, okay, I apologize. Ms. Manning?
Is there a,
Hey,
I'm a little confused on this, because I attended the meeting last week. Seemed like to me, let's say I'm a builder on making improvements there. I don't understand if there should be a policy. I looked on the City of Baton Rouge website, and they have it broken down into how all their sewers are done, and the charges, and it's done by feet, it's done by tie-ins, and this and that and the other, it's according to what you do. Or how much the city has to absorb. So the more you do, the less your cost is or whatever. But it's there on a scale, so that when you go to get your permit or you go to get this done, you know, not maybe per se the cost, but you can kind of ballpark it. I don't think we have that. I think that would be a good idea so that you know before, and me as a person, if I was doing improvements on my house, and they probably didn't know this was gonna happen, but still, I would like to know. I don't want surprises. And that's kind of a large bill. So with this coming up, I think it's an issue that needs to be addressed and just have a scale on what people can expect. And with no surprises, not going back to this, looking it up, what you did 5 years ago, that let's say you didn't want to give him a credit. And he got into it, he's halfway into it, and then figures out he's got a $40,000 sewer tie-in, then you can't finish. So then what are you gonna do? You know, it's just too, we need consistency so that when people get into improving their homes or developing or whatever, at least they know what to expect. I was kind of in shock because that could have ended up in a bad way for them and maybe somebody else down the road. So just think about that and some kind of guidelines, or if you have a contractor doing this, which I heard that, you know, it's leaning towards that way, have a contract rate so that people know what they're getting into.
thank you. You want to elaborate?
Sure, no, I mean, look, I understand the concern. It is definitely some eye-popping numbers from time to time. The problem with our situation is that we have a 4-man sewer system team. They cannot do tie-ins on a regular basis and manage all of the other things that they have to do. Baton Rouge has $1 billion budget. They probably have their own sewer team that does tie-ins and sewer work dedicated for that express purpose. Here, we don't have shoring boxes. OSHA requires a shoring box anytime you dig over 4.5, 5 feet. So that is our cutoff. If it's 4 feet or less, we try to do it ourselves. But as we learned this week, sometimes that creates an issue. That being said, no contractor, we've tried to have discussions with a contractor to try to manage the cost, to see if we dedicate all the work to one person, but then you got the issue of bid issues and things of that nature, public bid law and the like. So We have some lines in the city that are 15 feet deep. And we have some lines that are 7 feet deep. And the price is always commensurate with the depth. If the contractor has to dig 2 days, he's gonna charge you more if he has to dig 1 day. It's unfortunate, but there's no way to anticipate what the cost is gonna be because most of the lines, the depth is determined by the main line. Most of the main lines run in the middle of the street, so you have to cut the road, dig it out, assess, do your work, and come back. I would love to be able to give people a scale or a range, but you just can't do it under the circumstances that we face. That being said, these issues are going to come back. The better approach is what happened here. I mean, let me back up. Our ordinance addresses this, by the way, the cost. The cost is 100% on the property owner. That's what the ordinance says. Let's just be clear. However, the city has made concessions in the past. And that's all this is an attempt to do, is to at least treat the next person how you treated the last person. And that's where the percentage came in. That's how the percentage was determined.
And I would say, excuse me, that it was a bigger amount also. So I just want to put that out there. I did give you the paperwork, but I just want to put that out there. The amount was different last time. It was much higher than the amount is now. So if that's what you want to stick to, that's fine. But I just want to personally say that the amount was higher. So that's where the 64% came into play.
And just to clarify, I believe in transparency for everybody being on the same page. The last issue was 2 tiny.
Right.
At $6,350 a piece. That was 5 years ago. This is one at $7,600. That's probably just with the price, how the price fluctuated over the last 5 years. That's why the number was large. It was $13,700 for 2. Okay,
that makes sense.
They were right next door because it was 3 houses in a row. The house in the middle cut the 2 houses on the side off. In this instance, you had 2 houses next door, and 1 house could not enter the other property to reconnect. So these things are going to happen, but that's how the percentage issue came up. That's what the percentage was last time, and that was the recommendation. So, but that being said, there's just no way to anticipate these costs. I mean, we get these on a regular basis, and by and large, keep in mind you don't have to do this. This is not a common thing. More often than not, your tie-ins they last, okay? But there are some instances where you have to redo, and it's just the nature of the beast, especially when you're talking about terracotta lines and a lot of oak trees. Oak tree roots are going to go toward the water, and so you have terracotta lines. You might have water in a location that's not supposed to be, for the most part. So, because we do have infiltration that occurs because the lines are made out of terracotta, and changing that, you won't know what that number's going to be. So you just do it as you go, and hope for the best. So, any questions? Thank you.
So do you want to go with the same?
But it was 64.
The 60%.
The city will absorb 60.
What was the last one was? The last one trade was 64.
The last one was 64, but it was 4-2. So I just wanted to, it was on the paperwork, so just to clarify, I want to, the 2 addresses were on that paperwork.
Okay.
So, okay, motion by Councilman Payne for the 60%.
I said
Second.
I did.
Okay, second by Councilwoman Gordon.
Okay.
You want from the,
Very
okay, I didn't know if anyone else needed to say anything.
Mrs. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes.
19, consider authorizing Mayor Pattan to continue with the assignment of Ms. Shanisha Jackson to assist in the Water and Gas Office and Roads and Drainage Office. This was brought to my attention that when I previously brought this up, I asked for 6 months, So I am asking for more time. I will not put a number on it this time. I'm not sure how long it will take. I do have a description that I think y'all were provided. Is it in the books?
Oh, I didn't put it in.
Okay,
I can get a copy of it.
I do have the job description, so, I mean, I can go through them right quick, or I can give them to you, to look at. But I have her and, Ms. C's, both separated. I asked for this just in case I needed it. But she is, she was already reassigned asked to be moved from sewer to roads and drainage, before I took office. She is currently now in the office. She's helping with different state projects. And like I said, she's doing a very good job. She's handling most of the inputting information for those different projects that we have. I know through the duration of this year, and then I'm sure they'll start back up for next year, that we were behind on from the previous year. So I will not put a number on it, but just know she is doing a great job in there helping with that. And I wanted to bring it back to the council, since, like I said, it was brought to me that the 6 months was up. So I wanted to ask for more time.
So when her time is up, whatever time we have, and she goes back to road and drainage, and who's gonna do her job after that?
Hopefully, she's not per se, I guess, doing anything. I guess by then it'll be updated because, like I said, she's doing behind some of Mr. Landry's stuff that was not done for the state audit. So, I can't answer that if she leaves,
if she
or goes back to her regular duties.
Right.
She still is helping with roads and drainage. She's just not outside physically on the equipment. Can I get a motion? Motion by Councilwoman King, second by Councilman Hubble. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Roll call, please.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
No.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Ms. King, I'm sorry, and Mr. Payne.
Yeah.
Motion passed, Mayor.
Consider entering into executive session to discuss a lawsuit in accordance with LA Revised Statute 42:17A, 2 strategy sessions or negotiations with respect to collective bargaining, prospective litigation after formal written demand or litigation when an open meeting would have detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body. Need a motion to go into executive session? Okay. Motion by Councilman Hubble, second by Councilwoman Gordon.
Ms. Joseph?
I'm sorry, anyone from the public?
Okay, Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne? Motion passes.
Hey, can I, get a ask for a motion
I make
to
the motion to
come out of executive
come out of
session?
executive section.
Okay. Councilwoman, Gordon and Councilman Hubble.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
21, sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Rowe.
Yes. Motion passed.
21, consider authorizing the payment for a lawsuit fee to Louisiana Municipal Risk Management Agency in the amount of $2,500 from the discussion of the executive session.
I make a motion.
It was motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Hubble. Anyone from the public wish to be heard? Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Motion passes, ma'am.
22, presentation of the monthly financial report.
Any questions, did email it to you on Friday. Some of you do have two email addresses. If you do not want me emailing it to both of yours email addresses, please let me know and I'll remove it, because I've now created a group as opposed to typing in each individual email address. So all I have to do now is just get my group. So if you don't want things going to both email addresses, let me know. Again, our taxes are over what we budgeted. That, again, because of our sales tax, we had conservatively underestimated our sales tax revenue. And also, when we rolled forward our property taxes, we collected more in property taxes than we thought we would because we rolled forward last year. We're not going to have that luxury next on this coming budget because we already know where our millage rates are. So our revenues are not going to be, at least on the property tax side, like it is right now. It's just happened to be a luck of the nature, luck of the draw. I don't know what terminology we use there. Going through this, one of the things that's also stuck out with me, if you look at this is as of May 31st, so we're 91.67% left. So we want our revenues to be there or above. Most of it is meeting that. Our expenditures we want to be there or less, and most of that we're falling there. The one thing that, if you look at protective inspection, we're over 100%. In personnel services, that's not just salary. Personnel services includes health insurance premiums, workman's comp, et cetera, et cetera. And I've researched that because it is a abnormality when I look at everything else. That is because of how we decided to code our nonstop payments. Nonstop is our debit card that our employees have as part of their health insurance. We pay both the Blue Cross premium and then we pay a nonstop payment every month. The nonstop, as it's been done in the past, in America, correct me if I'm wrong, we just take that nonstop payment and we divide it by 10, by the 10 different departments. We've got one person in protective inspection. So that one person should not really be paying 1/10 of the nonstop premium. Hopefully have that corrected in the next budget going forward. I've also discovered, and it's not in here because it was just done, so it will be reflected in the June budget, the June report. Our liability, fire insurance, et cetera, those insurances cover July 1st through June 30th. So they're going to be paid within the next 2 to 3 weeks in this budget that applies for something in next budget. So the way the auditors, of which I've learned within the last 2 weeks, have done this is that when we pay them in June 30th in this budget, when they make the financial statements in the audit, they take what we pay in June, move it to prepaid expenses, which doesn't show up on your financial statements, or these financial statements. You take the prepaid expenses that they moved last year, and put it back in as expenditures in the current budget. I'm going to step ahead. I've set that up. It is going to be in the June thing as opposed to waiting for the auditors to come and do it. I've already set it up. You don't see it in here because it had to be a journal entry, and the auditors does not want the person that does the journal entry to also approve and update it. They want two separate eyes on journal entry transactions. And the two sets of eyes, they want them to be people who know what they're doing. So just because I did the journal transaction, I can't go to employee A or B and say, here, post this, update this. So Falk and Winkler, when they came that week after I'd done it, which just happened to be, I think, Monday of this week, and not in time for me to do this, she posted that, so it will show up. So another reason to keep in Falk and Winkler right now is that checks and balances to make sure we've got, as the auditors, two trained sets of eyes looking at our finances. And in the capital outlay for community development, is where we're putting the expenditures for the $75,000 grant that we had. We did receive the first payment earlier this week of $37,500. So we've already received half the payment, and that's going to be an auditor. Yeah, I'm new at this. The auditor's going to have to explain to me on how to. That $75,000 is for the Louisiana fiscal year, which I think is like January 1st, December 31st. I don't know, is it?
No, this is just like ours.
It's just like ours, but we got $37,500 in the first half, and $37,500 that will be in the second half, but we got expenditures across both, so they'll be making the adjustments. So even though we see that $25,000 that throws off the community development, it is compensated by that $75,000 grant that we received. And we did have some employees that were getting, one in particular that was still getting paid out of the roads and drainage department budget that had transferred to another department. That has been corrected, but not in time for this. That was another journal entry that we did that we couldn't, and for whatever reason, when employees move, it's not just saying they move from this department to the other department. Our INCO system is very, for lack of a better word, convoluted. That you can't just press one button. It takes you got to do check marks on 3 or 4 or 5 different screens, and one check mark wasn't checked off. That we moved that person for workman's comp. We put it on the list that he or she's going to be in this department, but unfortunately we didn't click the little tab next to the salary distribution that says switch that one. So we have corrected that, and hopefully we won't have those mistakes as much going forward. Anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
23, condemnation proceedings.
At this time, Mayor.
24, alcohol beverage permits. I don't think we have any at this time. I have a few announcements. The first announcement, I think under the former administration, Mr. Walt Grow was on the planning and zoning. He was suspended. He does not get paid, but he was he was put on a leave, better words. So he came to me months ago, I'm guessing after this was done. He received his verdict. And he just came to talk to me, I think last week maybe. And I had talked to, I think week before. So I talked to DA Clayton last Thursday. And he assured me that nothing was found. He was not found guilty. So when it was asked under the former administration, that it would fall on me, I said whatever the law said. So I'm sticking to that. So the law did not find him guilty. I did my paperwork, my research, and like I said, I talked to them. Nothing was found guilty, although what he did may have not looked in the eyes of the citizens to be ethical. The board did not say, they said otherwise, that nothing was wrong. So I am appointing him back to the Planning and Zoning Committee, effective immediately. So I wanted to be transparent about that because, like I said, it was going out the former administration, but it was asked, what would I do? But I did my research and he was not found guilty. So he will be back appointed.
And Mayor, you're not even appointing him back. You know, he maintained the appointment the whole time.
Right.
He was just on administrative leave while the process played out. And now that that process has played out, he's just being taken off of administrative leave.
Reinstated.
Yes, correct.
Okay, also I want to thank everyone who attended the town hall meeting, the council and the citizens. I think it was very productive. Our attorneys were there. It's very productive. I think we were able to have a more one-on-one question and answer session. We had learned a lot more about our blighted properties going forward. And so I think it really turned out great. You know, again, I appreciate the ones who showed up and asked the questions, sent the questions in before, and they were still able to ask questions when they attended. So the next one will be in September, so we will give a date later about that. Also, Juneteenth celebration is the 21st and 22nd at William and Lee Park. It's both days starting at 12 p.m. Fireworks will be Saturday night at dark. And that's it. We're gonna try to have some fun and stay hydrated.
Let it be stated that the senior dinner is only going to be this Sunday.
Only Sunday.
Yes. So senior dinner will be that Sunday only.
Yes. We don't have the tickets out yet.
Adrian, you need to speak on her.
Okay, so that Friday night, we will have our first,
We'll have our reception for.
Juneteenth pageant will be that Friday night.
From 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
And that's at the community center.
At the William and Lee Community Center, yes.
All right, thank you.
Correct?
All
Yes.
right, back.
Also on the 17th is the district meeting for LMA. So
Yeah, don't we go to Addis
we
on
will be in
Tuesday?
Addis at 6 o'clock.
That's on the 16th.
Yeah.
When's that again, Mr. Ross?
Huh?
When is that?
On the 17th.
16. 17, I'm sorry.
17 or 16?
17, I'm sorry.
No, I'm old.
Yeah, 17 and 16.
That's a Tuesday.
6 o'clock.
Yes.
I think they can bring a guest. I'll
We normally do.
check and let you know, but normally you can bring a guest, and it's a nice affair. So I did kind of temporarily put everybody's name down. Hopefully y'all don't embarrass me. They gonna have food for everybody. I don't want too many to go place.
Hi, I'm Tammy Martin with West Baton Rouge Parish Library, and I just came tonight to give y'all an update on summer reading. When school gets out, we get busy. So we have a lot going on. I'll start with just what's going on in the next week here in Port Allen, not even talking about what's going on in Burley. So tomorrow, our wonderful Port Allen PD is going to do a children's story time, talk about safety with parents. It's going to be great, and it's pastries and police. So come get some pastries.
What time?
Tomorrow morning at 10.
10.
Mm-hmm. And then on Friday, we're having paint and collage art inspired by Eric Carl. If you're familiar with the Very Hungry Caterpillar, that's Eric Carl. And so they're gonna do a community art piece where all the children participate in one art piece. And that is Friday from 1 to 3. And then Monday at 10 a.m., we try to have stuff at 10 because kids have a limited attention span, and after 10 it's time to go home and get lunch and get a nap. But Nature on the Go, and that is for pre-K and up, and that is wild animals in the library. It's really fun. Every Tuesday at 10, we have story time. But next Tuesday afternoon, at 1, we'll have sidekick circuits for 6th to 12th grade. They will take an apple and make a battery out of it with circuits. It's really cool. And then on Wednesday, the 18th, at 10 is the Yuck Show, which is slime and all that good stuff that the kids love it. They love it. They really do. And okay, so for adults, we don't have as many programs for adults, but the programs for adults are bigger. We have, 3 or 4 things a week for kids. We just focus on 1 a week or 1 every other week at each branch for adults, but we do them really big. So last night at Bruley, we had a cookie dough class, and this Friday in Port Allen is a Nerf battle. We'll provide all the snacks and the Nerf guns and take it out on the people that really really deserve it, right? All right. One other thing before I go. No, actually, a couple more things. One is I need to push Dolly Parton's Imagination Library again. It is completely free. There is no cost to the child. Every child under the age of 5 in West Baton Rouge qualifies. All they have to do is live in West Baton Rouge, and we will send them a book every single month for them to keep. Sign your kids up. We have like 450 kids signed up, and I know we have more than that, way more than that. And the other thing is, as you're probably aware, the library tax did not get renewed in March. We are also going to be on that November 15th ballot. And so I had some questions after the election that I wish I had gotten prior to the election. So in response to those questions on our website, I've posted all of our budgets. All of our meeting minutes have always been on there, but also our audits. For the last 2 years, we have had completely perfect, flawless audits, and I'm very proud of that. So if anybody questions our finances, I'm more than happy to discuss it. I'm proud to discuss it. But if you have any concerns or questions about services or anything concerning the library, my door is always open. If I'm not sitting in my office, I'm in that little blue car running back and forth between branches. But I got a cell phone. It's in my email signature. Call me. Come talk to me. Okay, that's all I got for y'all tonight. I am leaving these. These are sort of calendars of what's going on, and you can see they're thick. And one's for adults and one's for children. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The last announcement I have, I think in the past administration, right towards the end, we kind of asked about meter reader training after Terry kind of announced that he was retiring. So we did advertise. So we do have interviews tomorrow starting at 9:30 for those who want to participate. It's only 2 that can come from the council. But we are interviewing tomorrow, I think starting at 9:30 or 9:30, I think, tomorrow morning.
Mayor, when we gonna advertise for Adrain?
Okay, the assistant position. Right now, I'm not going to try to fill the position. It is still open. It's still in the budget. I did, leave it in the budget. But right now, I think we are fine. We're trying to get rid of the taxes. We kind of talked about that. He stepped in and he was able to get them, but they had new administration coming in, so we would have to have a new meeting with them to see if they're still willing to, take over the property tax.
That's he's sending out the tax bills and collecting the tax. That's not
Right.
doing the election. That's
Right.
not doing the millage adoption law.
Right, still have to do that, right. Alright, that's it.
Motion? I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilwoman Norton, second by